Ahoy, mateys! Welcome back to the Captain Patriot YouTube channel. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Today we are going out sailing yet again on the seas of stupidity, and this time it's Bonnie Blue. Okay, so blue seas all around, and blue waffle too, apparently. Don't look that up. Bonnie Blue obviously has been in the news for a number of different things. However, this one is an interview I saw with Liam Tufts, or at least it's from the TikTok account Liam Tufts 1. So we're gonna watch this. It's a doozy. It's about, you know, Bonnie Blue and her opinion on sleeping with a son and a father at the exact same time, and her rationalization for why this is okay, because in her mind there's nothing wrong with this at all. Her rationalization for why this is okay seems to be common among other people in the modern dating world as we see it today. So let's take a look and see what she has to say.
Have you slept with a father and son at the same time?
Yes, yeah. I think that's brilliant. Like, to have that much of a good relationship with your son, or, you know, for the son to have that much of a good connection with their dad, I think it's fantastic. Too many people, especially 18-year-olds, I know when I was at school, would argue with their dads or wouldn't have a good relationship with them. I think to have that much of a good relationship that you can come with your dad to sleep with me is fantastic.
Yeah, see, this is where it's either you and me are on a completely different page, or it's just generations, because I think the father needs his head kicked in for that.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, I know you think that, but I think that is one of the most outrageous things I've ever heard, and he needs his fucking head checking.
The dad is just a guy himself, and if he wants to be pleasured and have fun in the bedroom, he deserves that as well. So
with his son.
Yeah, so I think why not?
That's
if you've got a good connection,
fucking nuts.
Take me from both ends.
Oh boy. You know, these are people too, and I think this is one of the big issues, is that these people, the Bonnie Blues, the Lily Phillips, the OnlyFans models that seem like part of the Bop House and all this other stuff, they become idols, or people idolize them because they see that there's money to be made. And it goes back to the old adage of like money being the root cause of all evil. I think this is a very true statement. And I think it's very observable in our modern day world that we live in, because, you know, there's so many different ways to earn revenue online that, you know, whoring yourself out on, you know, any sort of website seems to be what a lot of women turn to nowadays, because it's quick and it's easy, right? It requires very little effort, but the payout can be extremely high, right? We see this with some of the stunts that Lily Phillips has done, or Bonnie Blue, or there was some other girl who just slept with like 580 something people in the span of a couple of hours. When these people talk about it, they talk about it with such a high regard, right? They talk about it as if there's nothing wrong with it, as if that behavior should be normalized in entirety in our society, and that anyone who doesn't normalize the behavior has some sort of issue, right? There's some sort of crazy controlling person who is hateful or bigoted, or they're backwards, right? And so that sort of language, when it surrounds the discussion of intimacy and sex and love and relationships, seems to be like you're turning a blind eye to all the potential issues that come with a society so focused on earning money any way they can, that really nothing matters, right? The only thing that matters is money. And so you have these like women who talk about it in such a positive way that influence other women or other girls who see that type of content, and see the lifestyle that these girls are living, and it pulls them into thinking they can do the exact same thing. The truth is, most people don't make that level of money, right? But it's the allure, it's the appeal of that content, or of the lifestyle that these women who make that kind of content are living, that seems to attract a lot of women into that space, into creating OnlyFans content, or, even if it's just posting like lewd photos on their Instagram and things like that, because it garners attention from men. It garners, attention from potential brands who see that as an opportunity to market products. And they use you, right? The individual, the person, the actual person, they use you as the platform to ship an idea or a product, right? To some sort of service or some sort of product. And you're selling out, you're selling yourself, you're selling your body, and you're selling your sexuality, and you're selling your own personal intimacy. And you don't get that back, right? Once it's on the internet, it's there. People have it. It's available for anyone to look at. No matter how hard you try and scrub it off the internet, it's still there. You can't get rid of it. So I don't know. I think we're doing, I feel like, I feel like this should be a no-brainer. I feel like this is not something that should really even be a discussion. But you have women like Lily Phillips or Bonnie Blue who talk so highly of it. And, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think it's natural. It's, they're fulfilling what they want. And then they're defending things like a father sleeping with his son. Right. And like, you think that's a healthy relationship between a father and a son. That kind of points to you not having a good image or, a solid foundation with your father to know what a healthy relationship with a father should look like. Because if you're justifying that, could you justify the same if it was a father and a daughter sleeping with a third party, right? Like, can you justify that as well? Like at what point is something not justifiable? Or like a mom and a daughter sleeping with a man, right, together. Is that justifiable? A mother and a son, is that justifiable? Because at that point, there are no rules. Everything is fine. Nothing matters. Morals are non-existent. There is no standard that we should uphold as people. And basically whatever goes, right? There's no, and I think that's kind of like where you see the breakdown when it comes to society as a whole is just no consistent values anymore. People are abandoning their values because they're seen as archaic, or they're seen as reductive, or they're seen as backwards, right? And I think this is why so many people, especially people who are on the left, scream, horrible, awful things about people who are conservative, because the people who are progressive want to keep, quote unquote, progressing, which basically just means keep letting people do more and more heinous things while we normalize that behavior and act like everything's fine, right? Like, I see videos of people twerking on kids in public, or taking kids to these pride events where there's dildos and there's strippers and there's all sorts of like inappropriate things. And the issue I have with a lot of this is that it seems really stupid, right? It seems stupid. And it's not necessarily like these people have negative intention, or that they're trying to cause issues. I don't think that's their intention, but I do think that the carelessness and the stupidity, it's like the lack of effort put into thinking about what are the potential long-term impacts of this, right? It's like that lack of care is why our society seems to be falling apart or coming apart at the seams, right? And you have people like Bonnie Blue who seemingly think it's totally appropriate for a father and a son to sleep with her, and that there's nothing wrong with that or nothing questionable about that. And that's the scary part, is that like these are real people who genuinely believe these things, and too much of society nowadays is quiet, right? Like, they're quiet. You don't hear about them talking about this stuff. You don't hear people in outrage. You have a lot of people in support of Bonnie Blue, and it's sad. It's a really sad thing. It's sad to see, what society is basically letting itself become, because it's too lazy to speak up or speak out against this stuff. So anyways, that's my video for you guys today. A little bit more of a serious topic, a little bit more depressing, and I don't know, a little bit more. It's a serious issue, right? Like, this is not like, it's not just like no big deal, right? Like, society that we have to live in is changing, and it's changing for the worse, not for the better. And I see too many people on the sidelines saying and doing nothing, which is kind of like why I started this YouTube channel, is because like I kind of wanted to throw my opinion out there and express my dissatisfaction with a lot of the things I see wrong with society. So like, this is an example, is like the monetization of human sexuality and human love and intimacy, right? Like, it's been monetized as a business strategy rather than it being something that we uphold as sacred and important to society's well-being, the healthy development of children, the strong foundation that every society is built off of, which is the family unit. It's now just become another marketable thing for someone to sell, right? And so and of course, there's obviously the issues with people being exploited and all this other stuff. So I already kind of feel like I've broken it down enough. If you have any thing to add. I'm curious to know what you guys think. Leave a comment down below, because I definitely feel, I don't know. I feel like I'm going crazy when I talk about this stuff. There's still gonna be people who like dislike this opinion, right? This opinion that I have, people are gonna be all butthurt about it and angry that I have this opinion, saying, just let people do what they want. Just let people do what they want. And I'm like, well, you have to draw the line somewhere, right? You cannot keep saying that indefinitely, because at a certain point, it's just like, I don't know. And I feel like we're at that point where it just doesn't make sense anymore to just be like, just let people do what they want without any sort of criticism. You know, don't shame them. I don't know. It seems unhealthy. It seems like it's a very, it's a bad path we're going down, and not many people are willing to speak up or out against it. So anyways, I'm curious to know what you guys think about this. I don't know how someone could think that that's okay, but regardless, thank you guys for taking the time to watch my video. I really appreciate it. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.